Hello there, my beautiful Virgo signs. This is Rachael with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's message is for you, Virgo. The song I was guided to listen to today was called Stay For a While by Victor Ray. So something about maybe somebody from the past coming back, or someone that you're currently interested in when it comes to love, or possibly somebody you've had a heartbreak experience with before. I do feel like it's significant. Now, I pull a traditional Celtic cross spread, but sometimes extra clarifiers come out, and then I pull a couple bonus cards for you as well, sometimes if the energy calls for it. I did meditate, and I was getting good energy from your reading here collectively, and I do feel like there's a lot of things you have to acknowledge on a soul level about your past and about pain and healing. And I do feel like you're progressing through this, and you're doing a lot of the inner work and the introspective work. But your guides, your angels, and your higher self really want you to breathe and focus on being content with yourself and knowing that you know yourself and you know your self-worth, because you've done a lot of work here. So let's dive into tarot first, and then I will go into the oracle cards. And if something in this message happens to resonate, please make sure you smash the like button, but definitely go check out that song. Now, the first card I have for you is your current energy. This is kind of like a novice energy, so there's some new mindset that you're trying, or you're trying to implement. Sometimes this can be like a petty energy, but it could be somebody in your energetic field. Like if you've had an ex and they've been doing some spying on you, that can be what this energy is. And I say that that's coming through very strongly for a lot of you, because you have the challenge here. The conflict card is basically the Five of Wands. This is a card of conflict and chaos and fighting. So you might be dealing with maybe some lack of closure, or how can I explain it? I can feel the energy. It's just a very kind of like that uncomfortable feeling when you like run into an ex when you're out, and then it's like, ugh, like I didn't realize how much I hurt still from that relationship, or how much I'm still grieving. So it's like you might be experiencing a little bit of that, because you're like, oh, I thought I was over it, and then like a wave comes back and like slaps you in the face all over again, and you're like, where did that even come from? I didn't even realize that was in my subconscious psyche until, I saw that person's picture, or I saw, them out at the Starbucks or whatever. So that might be like coming back into play for some reason. But I do feel like there is a gift here and a blessing in this situation, because in your foundation here you have the Ace of Wands. So maybe this person was like your muse, or maybe they were like an inspiration for you to like step out of your comfort zone and do something you really wanted to do, because the Ace of Wands is like an opportunity for passions, for creation, for pursuing something. And I feel like that's kind of what you've done, because in the recent past you've been in this Hermit energy. Now, this is a very positive energy when you're doing the inner work and the shadow work, and the Hermit is all about introspection, and it's going into the darkness and then leading yourself out of it. And I feel like that's very good, very positive. Now, you might be waiting for communication, or waiting for somebody to make a move, because you have the Eight of Wands here. That is a card about communication or something along those lines. So particularly around the holidays, we'll have a lot of exes coming back into play, because I swear it's like this, I don't know, it's like this magnet thing. When, people get lonely, they start reflecting, and then they start thinking like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like if I reached out to so-and-so again. And especially since we're in this Mercury retrograde, you might have a lot of exes showing up in your DMs, so don't be surprised there. But that lasts until about December 15th. So after that, hopefully it'll be like nothing. But the next cards I have for you are about your future. So you have the Fool and you have the Sun. This is a brand new chapter. This is a brand new journey for you, which we collectively are all going through changes and shifts on a huge level. Like every single reading that I've done for all the zodiacs are all about like this enlightenment process, this introspective work that we're doing on a mass level. So it's like we're doing the microcosmic work by healing ourselves, but on a bigger spectrum, we're all collectively healing, and it is shifting our energy. Now, this is all divinely guided because in your subconscious, you have the Wheel of Fortune here. This is divinely timed. This is part of your soul's mission, your soul's path and purpose in this life that you've kind of agreed to. And I do feel like you're moving forward because you're coming at life from a place of love. And you have the Lover's card. This is Gemini. This is what's in your wheelhouse of control right now. You can control how you love. You can control how you receive love, how you give love, and your perception of what it means to love somebody. I feel like that's what's shifting as well, because like with that immature energy and the conflict, I feel like maybe your expectation of love was different a while ago, and now it is totally you're loving on a different level because you're loving yourself first, and now you can love other people on a different level. Now, how do people see you? 9 of Swords. Maybe they see you as, a bit regretful or remorseful. This is typically a card of like insomnia or grief, and maybe people see you as lacking in some way, but I don't feel like that's a very true perception. So I would take people's perceptions of you with a grain of salt, because they can only see a sliver of what your life has been like, and I don't feel like that's a very real thing, because when we look at somebody's life from the outside, we see this illusion or this presentation of how they present themselves, and it's not always accurate, especially with social media. So, take that as it resonates, but maybe they see you as a bit mopey. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the 5 of Cups. This is a card of regret and remorse. So maybe you're like looking to the past and you're like hopeful that you're not going to go through that again, or you're regretting ever having gone through something. But there is a lot of healing here in your potential outcome. So something about January timeframe is significant because the Star card came flying out. Something to do with Aquarius energy is vital. And then 6 of Cups, that's a nostalgia card. That could be like a blast from the past coming back in January. This is also a card of like childlike wonder. So it could be maybe you're dealing with your child who was a January birth date and you're just trying to focus on that or something along those lines. But I do feel like this is a card of healing the past through kind of looking in the rearview mirror. There's no real good way to describe that, but like you see the good times for what they were, and you also see the bad times for what they were, and that creates healing, because it's like, that's why I stayed in that relationship, that's why I moved on in that relationship. When you have that ability to self-reflect, where you're glancing in the rearview mirror, you're not like staring into it, then you can progress and move forward. And I feel like that's what's happening, because the wheel is turning, you are learning, and you are becoming very content with, not content, maybe like you're coming to terms with what happened and why. And I think that's going to bring you the closure that you need, because you may not be able to get it from a person. And that could be this immature energy as well. So, all right, Virgo, that's what I have for you when it comes to tarot. If you're interested in the oracle cards, then stay tuned, because I'm going to pull like 10 different oracle cards here and go through those. Now, if something in this video has resonated, please smash the like button or subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, please feel free to book that on my website. Or if you're interested in a personalized tarot reading, you can book that on my website as well. But the first oracle card I have for you is number 29, breathe. So make sure you're breathing. The Wim Hof method is a great way to practice a breathing technique. There's something called Simple Hof. That's a free app. You can download that online. That's just this, like, I don't get promotional things for that. That's just kind of the thing that I use. So that could be helpful. And then the Moon Oracle card I have for you is I am at peace with my past. And I feel like this is just that, like, coming to terms with like how things had to happen, and realizing that sometimes people in our lives are only meant to be there for a certain amount of time, and we outgrow them or they outgrow us. And there's no shame in the different parts of the journey that someone is on. It's just, we grow together, we grow apart, and life happens. Now, you also have the Pentacle here. which is, everybody thinks of this as a witchy card, which I think is hilarious, because it is a card that I I believe is highly tied to the golden ratio, which is a numerology aspect basically. So make sure you protect yourself from negative and evil energies. Sometimes people do that through the evil eye symbol. You can do a sigil. You can do a protection spell, if you will. Spells are kind of silly to me because spells are just spelling. That's literally where the word comes from. Spells, spelling. Our voice, our words literally are manifestations. So our words are things, our thoughts are things. That's why everything you say and speak and write is energetic vibration and frequency. So the pentacle can be a sigil that you draw or use as a form of protection. But do your research, figure out what it is you like to do for protection. I like to do a sage spray, and I do a sage smudge. Sometimes I'll just do a visualizing of colors. That's kind of the way that I put my conscious energy out there. And if you're like, oh, that sounds really hippy dippy, that's kind of weird, okay, whatever, why are you watching tarot? And then think about this. There's been a scientific study by Dr. Emoto, I believe, who studied the conscious thought impact on molecules. He did this through water and ice, essentially. And I talk about this a lot in a lot of my other videos because it's like really relevant, I feel. Because I like to incorporate the science behind what I'm saying instead of it just being like, oh, spirit woo-woo stuff. Like, no, there's science to back these things up, these claims. Now, he studied the impact on water. So what happened was basically he put thoughts into the water and set an intention with the water. Now, that can be through speaking those thoughts to the water. And then what happened was when, he mumbled the words hate, the water froze and the crystalline structure was very uncohesive. And then when he would speak the words of love or positive vibrational words and frequencies into the water and then freeze those molecules, it would be very symmetrical and very symbiotic, basically. So it shows that we not only impact our mindsets through our thoughts, but we impact our physical body because we are composed of primarily water amongst other things. So we have, I don't remember what percentage of water in our body, but it is very much so significant to ourselves because our thoughts, the way we think, is directly impactful to our health and our general well-being. So that was a good tangent. All right, Virgo. The next card I have for you says you are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. So something around your birthday might have been significant or a test of some sort. The next card is action from my Power of Love deck. This is Power of Love deck by James Van Praagh. I love his books. He's a medium that can tap into spirit, and he is very interesting if you read about his stuff. But I love this deck because these are kind of like, what's the lesson at this time that you need to kind of learn or go through? And it's action. You have the courage to express the unique loving colors of your soul. And I feel like that has to do with like chakra healing. So make sure you're working on your chakras. Now you also have instinct, which is tied to your crown chakra. So maybe you're really learning how to trust yourself because there's a little bit of energy that's kind of about self-doubt, and maybe people in your life maybe have made you feel not worthy before, and I do feel like that is shifting because you are worthy. Now the next card I have is interesting. It's the Siren. So something about mermaids, something about song, something about red gems or jewels. I'm not really sure what that has to do with anything, but take that as it resonates. Or a ship, maybe a cruise. Now, the next card I have is from my third eye chakra deck. This says, what do you want? What's your gut saying? And how can you make this happen? Write a list of pros and cons and cut a way through to reach your goals. Instinctively, you'll know if this is a good choice. This can also be about making a bucket list. Sometimes I find that that's helpful to help you set an intention or to take action on something you maybe were delaying your pursuit of. But I feel like with this full energy and the sun energy, you're going to feel naturally guided to want to pursue something new, because this is a new chapter for you. Now you have number 27, and I think, yeah, you had 27 and 29. Those might be significant numbers for you. But this is about nourishment. It says this hexagram is called Jaws and refers to all that gives you nourishment: physical, social, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. It is all creating and recreating an individual ecosystem to sustain and shape you. Assess how you habitually nourish yourself and others, and honor it all. And what would nourish you? How is your hunger motivating you? And if you accept this as nourishment, who will you become? Now, interestingly enough, I was seeing like one of those like terradomes or those terrariums. So some of you might be diving into that as a thing, or you might have a terrarium or something like that. It's kind of very odd sounding, but I do feel like it's a reflection of like your ecosystem, so you can sustain yourself with the tools that you have. I just feel like you might feel challenged at this time if your mindset is maybe a little bit immature, or like emotionally you feel like you're lacking fulfillment in some aspect of your life. But I feel like this Ace of Wands here is going to, or a bucket list is going to give you some sort of creative drive or creative spark to keep pushing forward. But I feel like it's a very good energy. It's definitely something about greenery though, because this is green as well. So, all right, Virgo, that's what I have for you. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, please smash the like button. It helps my channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for doing that inner work. And if you feel guided, make sure you schedule a one-on-one coaching session with me or a personalized tarot reading. If not, I will see you next time.